Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to everyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I am going to bring you a new project. I've done this, many years ago. I want to say 12 or so years ago, but my upline has brought it back, as she so often does, and that is coloring with bleach, which sounds really weird, but it is something that happens. And what I've done is I've taken one of my old aqua painters. This is what we used to sell, these aqua painters. Now we sell water painters in a set of 3, and you can do this in these as well, but since I had some of my old ones lying around, I decided to go ahead and do that. And I filled up the reservoir with just regular old chlorine bleach. I put it into a little container that I could, plastic container that was flexible enough I could squeeze it to make a really narrow spout, and then just filled up the reservoir. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this, what is the name of it? Daisy, oh my goodness. Here we go, Daisy Garden. Here it is, Daisy Garden cling stamp. You've seen me use this before. And I'm going to stamp it today in Stays On ink, which is this one. It's a solvent ink, which means that it's our Memento is water-based. Here's Memento. It's water-based and it comes right off. But this solvent ink has a different formulation that doesn't run and it doesn't fade as easily. I've heard that you can do this with the Memento, but it'll fade a little bit when you go to color with the bleach. So yeah, I'm using the Stays On. And I'm going to start with a piece of Highland Heather, and I've got this on my Stamparatus, just so that it's easy to use. I can stamp multiple times if I want to, especially if I use a magnet to hold this in place, which I may not be able to do. Because of the size of the stamp and the smallness of my piece of paper. So I don't think that's actually going to work as I think it through. So we're just going to get a good impression the first time. That's the objective. Yeah. So hello, Nikki and Joyce and Gladys. Glad you could join me today. Hope you guys had a nice 4th of July there. Let's see what we got. Oh, I wish that was a little better. So we're going to try, see if we can keep it well lined up. I'm going to stand up to press this time. There we go. That's better. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a couple more of these. I'm not sure we're going to take them all to be completed, but we'll at least see what happens when we put the bleach on. Sorry, I just bumped the camera right now. Hi, Mom. Glad you could join in. There we go. One last one here. Let's see how this one works. So I've got Highland Heather. That's the first one I did. I just did Soft Succulent, which is turning out to be one of my favorite colors this year. And Granny Apple Green is what I'm doing now. Yep. I'll call that good. And now before I go anywhere, I am going to clean this stamp off. Because it is the solvent ink, it needs a special cleaner. This is called Stays On. I don't use Stays On very often, so you can see I've got an old bottle of Stays On cleaner, but it still works. And you just dab it on. And you could use your chamois to clean it off. But again, I think the stays on and stains it a bit. And the cleaner itself is a little, it's got kind of an oily thing to it. So I go ahead and use some paper towels. And when I'm completely finished here, I will go rinse this under some water to get the last remaining bits off. I do like to clean the Stays On off. It will, if it dries on, and it stays on. It doesn't stain anything. It doesn't hurt your stamps. But I am just a little OCD about my stamps. So there we go. I'll set that aside now. And let's get to coloring some of this bleach. I'm going to bring in some more paper towel for some liquid moisture control on my brush. And let's see how we go. Again, this is an old aqua painter that I have filled with chlorine bleach. And now we're gonna just paint. Ooh, that's really wet. I'm just gonna paint that on the petals here, and we'll leave it and see what happens as it bleaches. Oh, so I was asking you guys what you did for 4th of July. We are part of a Facebook group for people from the Americas. They're mostly USA, but it's open to anybody. Oh, can you see what's happening? From any of the Americas, north, south, or central. This particular group, well, there's two groups of Americans in Melbourne. One is just anybody who's here, and then this other group is a subset of people who have not just come over for a working holiday visa or a student visa, but are more long-term expats. Is, you know, so we have permanent resident status or partner visas or dual citizenship or Australian citizenship, whether you're dual or you've given up your US or American citizenship. Anyway, so we put out a call for anybody who wanted to come over for a potluck, and we had 3 other couples make it in the end. So there were 8 of us on the 4th of July, and we had a good time from all over the US. Can you see what's happening here? So I'm chattering away. Hello, Paula. Thanks for joining me. So the bleach is bleaching out the Highland Heather into white. I'll let you keep an eye on it up there as it goes. Yep, painting along. See how it goes. It's pretty cool to experiment and see what color emerges from the cardstock. Because this one's going white. Let's see what we got here. I get them all. This one. Okay. Oops. That one's not done. You do want to do this pretty well ventilated room because it does smell like bleach. You guys see that? Yes, I can see it. It kind of looks like you've colored it with chalk, almost. Okay, I'm gonna set that one aside. I'm gonna pull in, this is Granny Apple Green, and let's see what this turns into. Nobody's sharing what they did on the 4th? Okay. This one's slower changing. Whatever it's going to be, it's slow. Oh, it's starting to change there, I can see. So for anyone who's joining me partway through, please say hello. And I am painting in this Daisy Garden image that I stamped in Stays On ink, and I'm coloring in the petals, I'm applying to the petals just regular old chlorine bleach, the stuff that you'd use in your laundry. And can you see it's starting to change the color on these? This one's working much more slowly than it did on, or becoming apparent more slowly than when I did it on this piece of Highland Heather. Just leave that there for a minute so you guys can see that I'm not the neatest painter. This brush is, I don't know if it's a matter of age or what, but it's doesn't have the best liquid control. So that's adding, I'm using that as my excuse anyway for my messy application in places. Can you see it's starting to turn? It's going a bit yellowy orange. Fireworks, yeah, that's something we didn't have. Because, surprise, surprise, they didn't set off fireworks midwinter for no good reason here. But we didn't even have them New Year's Eve when we usually do. But between COVID and worries about bushfires in midsummer, at New Year's Eve, we didn't have any. That's okay. I wish a lot of places in the U.S. had held off with all those terrible fires in the West. But can't tell some people, huh? Yep, I think I've decided going from the outside of the petal to the inside is perhaps making a better job of it. So this looks like it's going to pale papaya to me. Okay, oh, this one. Outside of the petal. Okay. Now we'll let that one sit for a bit. And finally, here's that soft succulent. We'll start doing this one. Okay, so my mom, who is an accomplished fiber dye master, has pointed out in the comments, assuming that the pigments used to create the color in the paper are similar to those used in fabric dyes, some will discharge and others slowly or not at all. Well, I will confess, I'm not really flying blind here. I do actually know what we're supposed to be getting. Because like I said, others have been doing it recently. And I let them experiment, and I'm a very good copycat. So that building site across the street from us, the central tower, has gone up high enough that it's cut off our horizon, which is very sad for us. Because one of the, I mean, I like the apartment, you know, the apartment itself, but one of the things that was really awesome was the view. And we still have a view, it's just not nearly as spectacular as it was. So that's a shame. Oh, look at that. It's also going in the yellowy oranges, but even lighter than in the granny apple green, which I suppose might make sense since this is kind of a lighter color paper. I don't know. I'm just going to get the flowers done in all of them, and then we'll do some other coloring on them before we make them into, one of them at least, into a card. And I wanted to give you guys a heads up. My, didn't make a big order, but my small pre-order from the holiday mini arrived as I was getting ready for this, and it's sitting downstairs. So when we're off from this, I'm going to run down and get it, and I'm going to pop back on in a separate video for an unboxing of my mini catalog pre-order. So you guys might want to come back for that if you care about such things. And if you're watching on replay, the same place where you found this video is where you will find that unboxing video. So almost finished with this one. What else? I think that's it on this one. Okay, so now to decide which one to do some additional coloring and make up into a card while we're together. So you guys can tell me. This one I think is more like So Saffron. Stop. Okay, so soft succulent, Highland Heather, or Granny Apple Green. Which one? You tell me, and then I'll make it up. I'm going to make all of them into a card, but I'm not going to do all of them on camera with you, because that would be a 2-hour video probably. I'm hearing crickets. Oh, Nikki, they were setting them off early in the morning. Yuck. I've seen a lot of people complaining about that. Soft succulent. Okay. I've seen 2 votes for that one. So there we go. Okay, I'm bringing in some blends to add some more color here, and I'm just going to go pretty fast. So in theory, we're not really supposed to be using blends with StazOn. It's supposed to pull the StazOn, make the StazOn run, because it's alcohol and the, like I said, the solvent ink, they interact more, but that seems to be doing okay for this. So I'm just not going to worry about it. Take my, that's really dark for the stems. This is the dark, soft, succulent blend. Oh, I know what I've done since we were last together. Glenn and I, you probably saw it if you're friends on my personal Facebook page, but we went to Nobu Japanese restaurant, which is one of those, you know, celebrity chef restaurants, and had a very lovely lunch. Sometimes those celebrity places, they don't live up to the celebrity hype, but this one did. Very nice food. And from there we walked over to the National Gallery of Victoria and saw their big exhibit for the winter is French Impressionist paintings from the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. That's what I'm trying to say. And that was a lovely, lovely exhibit. And we got the audio guide to go with that, which was well worth the $5. Did a lot of good explanations of things. Really enjoyed it. And got Nicole to come and stay with Noah so that we didn't have to fight him pulling us through the exhibit. So that was nice. How would markers work, Nikki asks. Well, I think markers would work just fine. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing this one. Well, here, let's... Here's my Granny Apple Green marker. Yeah, it works just fine. One of the things that I like about the blends, of course, is that they have the 2 different shades. Whereas this is just that one color. So I'm going to come in here with the lighter soft succulent, which isn't too terribly different, but it's enough. Yeah, I think you could come in with the marker, but it's not, I think the StazOn dried enough, it's not going anywhere at all. Yeah, there's really not much difference on the between the two colors. I am definitely using the other marker, but on this one there's not much difference. What I like is that the colors, you know, it just blends into itself. It doesn't leave streaks. Let's see what happens. Find a leaf where it won't matter so much. Put this one down here. Yeah, works fine. Use whichever you like, I guess is the moral of that. I think it's got a little more texture, if you will, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I don't know if you can see that, so here where I use the blends, the color just smoothed itself out. And here where I'm using the watercolor marker, it's, you can see where I have, like I did the veins and then went back over the whole thing, so you can see the difference in color, which again, I think is kind of a nice effect. Just, that's what the difference is. So maybe I'll try doing it on purpose here. So Renata, I know you've been getting your bathroom renovated. Is that almost done? Of course, almost is never enough, right? You want it done. In fact, almost is almost worse than just started. We bored yet? No, It's not boring. It's soothing, right? Wall tile tomorrow. Ooh, fun. It's always fun to tick things off the list. As you know, I've been watching, wow, if you go over where it's so saffron, the bleach part, you get really bright pop of green. Escape to the Chateau DIY. It's fun watching all those DIY projects. It's kind of like watching this old house in the extreme. But I always think I'd like to tackle projects like that. And when I met Glenn, he said the same thing. And I tell him this is the one place I feel like I got sold a bill of goods. Because while he was an able assistant to his mother who did all those kinds of things, carried something, handed her the right tool, held something in place while she did something. In fact, he is not interested in actually doing any of it and hates the chaos and disruption of such projects. So, yeah. Nevertheless, we've stayed together. And I've learned what I can tackle on my own and what I need to call in the professionals for. Okay, we are color colored in. So thank you for hanging around while I did that. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. So I got a piece of So Saffron. See, I told you I kind of knew what was coming. And a layer of Evening Evergreen. Ooh, I dripped a little bit of bleach there. That's okay. In fact, that could be kind of fun to kind of spatter a little bit more if you wanted to get a little more speckly on there. But first, I think I'm going to make a tag to go on there. And what I'm going to do is bring in another Stamparatus. Yes, Joyce, you are lucky that you knew what you were getting in for. And I'm sure you wish most of the time that he would just hire somebody to do a lot of the things, because I know he takes a while to get them done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tag to go on this card. And what I'm going to do, I've got it set up already, because I know I'm going to do multiples. And in fact, off camera, I may go ahead and do some to have just in my stash in colors I'm pretty sure I'm going to use. So I cut out, in a piece of scrap, I cut out one of these Stitch So Sweetly scalloped rectangles. And now I can just fit in, and I've cut a pile of them, and I can just fit them in. And I have this set up, and I know it's always going to line up. And it's, I think, one of the most convenient things. So I'm may experiment a couple times with colors, but there's some soft succulent. I'm going to do this happy, and this is Biggest Wish. And I really like how we can combine the block print and the script. So that was soft succulent. And I'm going to bring in some evening evergreen. And like I said, I haven't tried these together, so if they don't work the way I'm hoping they do, we'll try another combination. Yeah, that's not contrasting enough for me. I think even if I do it a second time, it won't be dark enough. But let's see. And again, that's one of the reasons I like the Stamparatus, because even though these are clear stamps, it's easy to re-stamp if you want it a bit darker. Okay, we're gonna yeah, see, that's okay, but I still think it could be more contrasting. So we're going to try another one. And the question is going to be, is it going to be too light? If I do this one in the So Saffron. So let's see how that goes. I think it's going to be good. Might do that one twice. And then soft succulent for the birthday. Yeah, I like that better. We'll go twice on that. Yeah. Yep. And let's see, shall we do some ribbon? I think so. As you can see, the blends bleed through. This is my cheat. I know many of you have seen this before, but instead of struggling to get it the right tension wrapping all the way around, I do that, and I can slide it exactly where I want it. There we go. I think maybe a little bling too. Don't you always bling? Always. Let's see what I've got that would look good on there. So these are supposed to be pale papaya, but let's see. Yeah. What do you think? Keep it kind of, as they would say here, homely, a little rustic, or add the bling? A little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking that. So I will take a little bit of time and finish up these other two cards so you can see them. They may be in the blog post for this, and they may show up other places. So hang tight for those. There's this one. I hope you like that. You like without. Yeah, you know, I like it either way. I think that's yeah, it's subtle-ish. Okay, well that's what I have for you for this video today. Like I said, I am going to sign off in a minute and go downstairs and get the items that I got in my pre-order from this catalog. If you're in Australia and you aren't working with a demonstrator, or you'd like to have me as your demonstrator, please drop me a message, get in touch with me somehow. Nancy at nancysniftynotes.com, or through nancysniftynotes.com, or private message on Facebook if that's where you're watching this, or put something in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, and I would be happy to send you both this catalog and the celebration brochure. This is the first year that we are having 2 celebrations. We had one in January, February, and now we're going to have one in August and September. And if you're not familiar with celebration, when you place a qualifying order out of the annual catalog, the mini catalog, special promotions, clearance rack, whatever, you get to choose free items out of this brochure. And I wish I could show you because there's some really, really cute things in both of these, but August 3rd I can open up and show you what's inside. If you want to see before then, let me know and I will get you a copy. Okay, I will see you guys back live in a few minutes if you want to join me. Otherwise, you can catch it on replay, and I will see you again next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.